Namaste. So in this clipping, we would discuss about the various functions of the foreign exchange market. So you have basically understood that there are three kinds of markets. One is a fixed exchange rate market wherein the government determines the exchange rate, and then there is a flexible exchange rate market wherein the demand for and the supply of the currency will determine the exchange rate of the market. That's the second market type, right? And the third market type is the managed float or the managed exchange rate system, which is also called as a dirty float. The reason being, it's a hybrid of the government as well as the market rate, where the government is going to fix up a ceiling and it's going to have a lower limit, and within that limit the rate is going to fluctuate. It could be a plus or minus 1, or sometimes even a wider band is alright. Plus or minus 10 is also allowed. So according to the policy of the government, there is a fixation of the higher limit and the lower limit in a managed exchange rate system, which is a hybrid system. Now, whichever be the market type, whether it is going to be a fixed exchange rate market or a flexible exchange rate market, or there again a managed exchange rate system which prevails in the market, there are three very basic functions that the foreign exchange market performs. Right? So the first one is the function of transfer. Yes, transfer of what? Transfer of purchasing power. Right? You have understood that countries, they undertake various economic transactions like trade and investments and so on. So a lot of money is going to flow in, flow out. Yes? So there is also going to be a transfer of purchasing power between countries. Let's say we are going to import products and services. When we are going to import products and services, we make a payment. Import payments are made. Alright? So some of the purchasing power is passed on to the rest of the world. So there is a transfer of purchasing power out there. Don't we see that? Yes? So that's the first function that the foreign exchange market is going to perform. Transfer of purchasing power. Alright? Now, the second one is a credit function. This is very much relevant, very much relevant to international traders, specifically the importers. Yes? So, in the foreign exchange market, as part of even your business studies, you would have understood that the importers normally have a credit given. Yes? That is, the importing country, let's say the importer, a particular firm, is not able to make an immediate down payment. Fine? What is done? Through the bank, there is a bit of exchange made possible out there. So a 90-day credit time is given to the importer. The importer can pay after the period of 90 days, wherein the exporter will immediately get the payment and the importer gets a cushion of 90-day payment time. So is it not the credit? Yes. Yeah. So that is the credit being given to the importer in the foreign exchange market, that is arranged for through special banks. Yeah. Also in the foreign exchange market, there is a specific tool, the bill of exchange is a specific tool that is made available to the importer. Fine, so that's a credit function. That's a credit made available to the importer. Yes, so that's a second basic function out there. We are simply discussing the very basic functions of the market, the foreign exchange market. So the first being transfer of purchasing power, and the second one being credit being given to the importer or to the international traders. Alright, then the third one is that of hedging. Right? What is this hedging? Hedging as in the forward market. And what is this hedging? Hedging is a practice of fixing up a rate, a specific rate for a transaction which is going to happen later. So at a predetermined rate or a prefixed rate, if the transaction is going to take place, then the later on transaction, the transaction might happen later on, fine, but then that later on transaction, it could happen at a predetermined rate or a prefixed rate as mutually agreed by the traders or the investors or whosoever. Yes? So, such a kind of fixing up the future transactions, it would happen in a future market or in a forward market. So, why is that done again? This kind of prefixing? It is done in order to avoid the uncertainties. Again, you very well know that in a flexible exchange rate system, the demand and the supply, they are going to be so volatile, they are going to be so dynamic that they are going to push the rate high and down all the time. So, in order to prevent these uncertainties, right, or at least reduce the impact of the loss due to such uncertainties, the countries would like to carry out the transaction at a predetermined rate or a prefixed rate. Yeah, where does this happen? Normally that happens in a market called a forward market or a future market. So that brings us to the two market rates. Fine. So one is the future market rate or the forward market rate. Now what did I just tell you? In the future market rate or the forward market rate, the activity of hedging is undertaken, wherein at a predetermined rate the transaction is going to happen. Alright, fine. So in the future market, hedging will be done to prevent the uncertainties in the market for the investors or for the traders. Alright, then what we have is yet another rate, that is the spot market rate. So in the spot market rate, fine, what happened? Come in, spot market rate, the very name should tell you what it could be. At the spot market rate, transactions are going to be carried out. Though we say spot market rate, there is over here again a cushion of 2 to 3 days, right? 2 to 3 days. At the current rate, when the transaction is going to be carried out, fine, then it is said to be at the spot market rate. Generally, the transaction is going to be, should be carried out on the same day at the same rate. But as I said, there is a cushion of 2-3 days in case there is going to be a check payment or something, then for realization or for any other tool that is made use of, there is a cushion of 2-3 days for realization of the money, right? So just for that, there is this 2-3 days cushion given there. Otherwise, in a spot market rate, what happens is the transaction is carried out at the spot market or at the current market rate. And in a future market or in a forward market, it is at a predetermined rate or a prefixed rate that the transaction is going to take place between the two parties. And why is that so? That is to avoid uncertainties, and such a practice is what is called as hedging. Alright, so what have we seen now? We have seen the three very basic functions of the foreign exchange market, whichever be the type of market, whether it's going to be a fixed or flexible or a managed exchange rate system. Then we see that there is a transfer function, there is a credit function, and also there is a hedging function. Yes? Alright, so that is with the functions of the foreign exchange market. Now, what we are left with is a small bit about the role of RBI. What does RBI do? What does RBI do in order to bring in the rate within the expected limit? Now, what did you understand? Under a managed exchange rate system, the government is going to set right the rate. How will it set right the rate? Fine. I even mentioned to you about this, ceiling and of course the lower limit, and within that the rate being led to fluctuate. Snake in the tunnel, remember? Yes? Or a dirty float. Yes? So that's a managed exchange rate system. So how does the government manage it? Will the government go and do something? No. Through the RBI. Yes? So RBI, as a representative of the government, is not only going to hold the foreign currency, it is also going to enter into the foreign exchange market, and it is going to put forth the demand for the currency and supply the currency when it is required. Okay? When will it be required? It will be required probably to set the rate right. So in case the rate is going to be very, very high in the exchange market, in the foreign exchange market, in case the rate is going to be very, very high, then that should be brought down. Yes, the rate being high, then that's a concept of currency depreciation. You may argue, oh yeah, that's good, export is going to increase, why does the government want to reduce it? Come on. Now, see, Indian government is going to depreciate the currency, or there again in the market in India the currency is going to depreciate. What is guarantee that the other countries are not going to do it, or in the other markets that's not going to happen? It can happen anywhere, isn't it? So for certain purposes, when the government wants to check this very high rate, it would ask the RBI to intervene. So the RBI is going to enter into the foreign exchange market and start selling, and it would start selling more and more foreign currency. Remember, the RBI is supposed to have the reserves of the foreign currency. I remember mentioning that the RBI has gold reserve, domestic currency reserve, and also the foreign exchange reserve. Yes? So this foreign exchange reserve that is going to be there with the RBI will be now sold by the RBI in the market, or rather the RBI will start supplying more and more of foreign currency. So when they supply more and more of foreign currency into the market, you know that excess supply will push the rate down. Yeah, the rate will go down. So let me repeat, when the rate is very high, the RBI is going to sell the currency, and selling the currency would mean supply of more foreign currency into the foreign exchange market. More and more supply, it will push the rate down. Yes? Mission achieved? Yes? Then, if the government feels the rate is too low, what is the danger when the rate is too low? When the rate is too low, then you know that the currency is strong, the domestic currency is strong. Yes? So, what about our imports? Imports will be very, very high. Yes? And exports will be low. Correct? Yeah? So, the nation would like to correct that. So, the government is going to ask once more the RBI to interfere here. The rate is too low. Currency is strong. Very good for the image. But what about trade? Yeah? So, in terms of trade, they would like to see some influx of foreign exchange. So, they would like the rate to go up. So, when the government is going to instruct the RBI will get into the market, and in the foreign exchange market, RBI will, what will it do? What will it do? It will, the rate is too low, right? Rate has to go up now. So naturally, they will start buying up the foreign currencies. So when they put up a demand for the foreign currency, when they start buying up the foreign currency, the rate will go up. You know that? Higher the demand in the market, that will push the rate up, excess demand. Remember? So when there is going to be a high demand, the price will go up or the rate will go up. Alright? So that's how the rate can be corrected. So this is how the management is going to be done. Right? In a flexible exchange rate system, if the government is going to interfere through the RBI and manage the system, then that is called as a managed exchange rate system. So the RBI demanding and supplying currency are the two tools that it can undertake in the market where the rate is managed. Right? So that's the role of RBI in a nation like ours, where the foreign exchange inflow and outflow is going to be curtailed for welfare of the population and for growth, better growth and development of the country. So with that, we wind up all the concepts in the foreign exchange market. So what have we seen? We have seen the foreign exchange, right, as in the meaning of the foreign currency, and then the foreign exchange rate, yes, then how the rate and the value, they are inversely related, and the three different markets, functions of the market in the three different systems, and a diagrammatic depiction of the currency appreciation and depreciation, and the effect of currency appreciation and depreciation on the national income or the domestic income of a country. Yes, so with that we wind up this nice small chapter in macroeconomics, which is the last chapter in your class 12. Yes, stay.